What is up, guys, and welcome back to Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I'm your host, the bald, the beard, the beautiful Piers Austin, and tonight I am joined by not just one guest, but two guests. They are the Velocities. They are the hottest tag team in Australian professional wrestling today. They are the PWA Tag Team Champs, the FWA Tag Team Champs. And you know what? If your kids want to put their belts on the line, they'll take your kids' toy commemorative titles as well, and they'll be trio champs. But guys, before we get into the interview with the Velocities, I just want to take a quick second, a quick pause to stop and say thanks to some sponsors. But before I do, I can see the chat going off. We've got a few people in the house. We got Gary from the UK tuning in. We got Kyle from Sydney tuning in. We got Michael Wade from the US tuning in. We got Adam from Australia tuning in. Guys, keep those comments flowing. But while I just thank some sponsors, first up is A-Rock Designs. A-Rock Designs, everyone knows. You hear me say it all the time. That's that company that's in all the wrestling groups, pages, Instagram stories, you name it. They make wrestling cups, hoodies, keychains, t-shirts, tumblers. They made me this special CM Punk tumbler, or as Ben Hameen would say, CM Cunt tumbler. But either way, it's absolutely amazing. Keeps my cold drinks cold, my hot drinks hot. And sitting in here with no aircon, I really need a cold drink. So guys, head over to A-Rock Designs, hit them up, and get yourself a cup and tumbler today. Next up is Signal Studios. Now, guys, if you're an independent professional wrestler, whether you're a tag team or a single, you need to have a fresh song to walk to that ring to so you get an awesome ring entrance. You need to go to Signal Studios. You hit up my boy Rafi, and he'll mix, master, produce a beat for you, a track for you that is out of this world, that you want exactly how to sound. And he can send it to you anywhere in the world. Or if you're a band, you're looking for a place to rehearse, a place to record, a place to relax and write some music, you will never find a more comfortable rehearsal space than Signal Studios to get those creative juices flowing. But guys, you're all sitting there very patient. Thank you very much. We got that out of the way for tonight's show. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Paris De Silva and Jude, the dude, London. What's up, fellas?
Is it good? Are we close enough?
How you doing, man?
Yeah, good.
Wow, man. You know, you guys are like tag team partners for life, bro.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
I was asking, can we swear on this show? And then we heard you talk about the Tumblr, and we went, we can definitely swear on the show.
Yeah, bro, absolutely, man. It's Shooting the Shit Uncensored, man. There's swearing in the heading, bro. So drop whatever F-bombs, C-bombs you got. So But guys, welcome back to the show, man. You know, you're two guys that I really enjoy watching in the ring, and two guys that I've gotten to know by coming to the shows and having a chat to you and talking your ears off after the shows. Guys, how's everything been? How's New Year's and Christmas been for you?
I mean, I think we are, after such a horrendous year, we've made it.
Yeah.
And hopefully this year looks a little bit better. I don't think we're necessarily out of the woods just yet, but I think things are definitely on the up for both of us.
Yeah, man, it's been good. Can't wait to get back into like a cool groove into 2021 and just have some fun matches.
Yeah, man. I think the end of 2020, we started seeing a bit more wrestling sort of start popping its head up for live wrestling with PWA, IWA, FWA. Three companies that you guys perform with quite regularly, and obviously the no crowds we discussed on both when I had you guys in. But do you find in those tag team matches with no crowds around? Obviously, the PWA Premiership has been filmed at the PWA Training Academy. Do you find, like, when you're wrestling as a tag team with no crowd, you've at least got the other guy there to sort of know that you're in it together, sort of thing, that, get through it and keep going?
Yeah, 100%. I think even with the crowd too, like the first guy that I'm listening for would be this guy in the apron, very much to help me out during the match, moral support. It's a big difference, but knowing that you've got someone by your side without a crowd, absolutely helps.
Yeah, man. Have we wrestled a tag without a crowd? I don't know if we have. I think small crowds we have.
Yeah.
But with no fans, I don't know if we have.
It was kind of like, I kind of had a discussion with Andy about this. And it was weird. I think 2020 for us, we only had one tag match for that year.
We did.
Before lockdown. We only had one tag match. And from then, I think, when was our next one? I'm pretty sure.
Being against HVWA.
Yes, which was October. So we had about a 10-month gap where we weren't tagging, and it was really, really odd.
Like from February was our last one, maybe, or March.
Yeah.
It was ages, man.
So we were super concerned in a way, coming back together as a team, having such a long break, and in a weird way, it actually worked out. I feel like this is the best we've ever been. Yeah, quite frankly.
Probably because we were like, shit, we haven't had a tag match in so long, so we just pumped it out at training, came up with a bunch of new stuff, went over our old stuff to just make it just perfect it as much as we could, and then we just came back with all this new shit and all this new attitude.
When you guys weren't tagging for that long, was it that you guys weren't booked to wrestle as a tag team, or was it that you guys were just trying to go out and do more single stuff, or was it just coincidence?
Coincidence.
I think coincidence.
Because I think we've had this discussion before. When it comes to being in a team, I think the majority of your matches will be in a tag team setting, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you won't have opportunities to have singles matches. And I think the premiership as well really opened up the doors and kind of gave us a new challenge, because we'd been tagging for so long.
Yeah, man.
So I think it was a great test to kind of see how we could do on like an individual scale. So the premiership was definitely a big factor into us having just singles matches for the year.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, and seeing you guys wrestle, in the 6-man tags, and also seeing you guys wrestle, one-on-ones, you guys, really prove that you guys, both of you, can mix it up either in a singles, in a tag, or a 6-man, and you can make things fit wherever you need to make it fit in those matches. And that's something that you see a lot of, specific types of wrestlers when they're used to wrestling a certain style, they get very complacent in that style. And it's like when you see them go into other sort of styles, they sort of struggle a little bit. How does that affect, obviously, with your training, being in a tag team and also trying to train as a single? Like, are you constantly, is it a different sort of training session or training mindset? Is it extra training that you guys need to do as a team?
It's not really different. I just say we do a bit extra, some extra tag stuff on top of the regular training stuff that we do.
Because majority of the time when we're training, we're there together.
Yeah.
But we kind of have that set routine when it comes to training. And normally once training's kind of done, we kind of have that time period where we're like, oh, you know what? We've been thinking about trying this and just want to go over strategies. So we always kind of make time to discuss it. And sometimes it can even just be online.
We wouldn't even need the ring sometimes, man. We just talk it out.
We'll get an idea, we might see something and try and make it our own. So that's the cool thing. I think our mind is, constantly rolling on the next idea.
Yeah, that was happening last night. We were watching some Dragon Gate last night, trading some clips.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was actually just going to ask, do you ever get like ideas from like video games or cartoons? So
I feel like that's definitely more you.
I got to think. I feel like I definitely have, man. I don't know. I can't put my finger on anything specifically.
John Wick.
I was going to say John Wick. Not a cartoon, but on the flight home from, I think it was England. We'll come over from England. I was watching John Wick and John Wick 2, and then I saw like a little fight choreography bit in John Wick 2. And I was like, oh, that could be a cool move. And now that move is the Excommunicado, which is also a John Wick reference. So, definitely drawn inspiration from stuff outside of wrestling.
I like to take credit for allowing you to find John Wick. My suggestion. My move. Man.
Kingsley's very angry.
Oh, wow.
I think she's watching right now. She's very angry.
But this was I got him into John Wick. So if you want to know the real origin of Excommunicado, I'll take credit for it.
Yeah. Or Jude Wick. Oh, Nikki Van Blair. Thank you.
Nikki Van Blair in the house. Hey, boys. Jude looking handsome as ever. Paris looking like the snack that he...
Nikki is always hungry.
That's why they.
Oh, wow.
Nikki. That's why they call him the sexy spot.
Thank you, Nikki. Love you, man.
Moving on, like, what are some of the tag teams that you guys have really sort of, obviously styled yourself? I don't say styled yourself after, but has been the biggest influence in your style. When I was speaking to you both, like, I got a sense of the Japanese style in both when I started seeing you guys work. What specific teams do you guys really sort of go, like, sort of blend towards?
For me personally, we draw inspiration from a bunch of like different. Oh no, Kingsley's very upset.
She's wrong. It's okay.
We'll deal with that later. For me, I like to think that it's like a team like Speed Muscle. Yoshino and Ricky Doi. It always, man, I feel like it always goes back to Dragon Gate.
It's weird because like there's so many teams within Dragon Gate, and it comes with also like stables.
Yeah.
So you can have such a mixture of different teams within the one faction. But you bring up like Yoshino and Doi. I think in terms of stables, you got like Blood Generation. Do Fixer. Like these really obscure names for all these teams.
This is just a history lesson now.
Yeah, but I think mainstream wise, I can think of London and Kendrick. I think the machine guns.
Definitely machine guns.
A lot of that has to do with like the smaller guys who are really quick and have incredible pacing. But overall, I think the Dragon Gate promotion, having such a heavy emphasis on tag team wrestling, was the main group that really got us inspired as a team.
Yeah, man. Also, a big fan of you got me onto Apollo 55.
Oh, Taguchi and
Devitt.
Yeah,
very good.
Golden Lovers as well.
Golden Lovers.
Yeah, man.
Oh, dude. How's that for the Golden Lovers? They're now both world champions in different promotions.
Yeah. It's so cool to see. And it goes to show you, man, like, you know, even being in a tag team, you can find great success as a singles wrestler as well. And, you know, hopefully, you know, I just feel like that it's a cool coincidence in a way. And, you know, you can probably have 2 world champions that could be a team who are once a team. And I think that's a really, really cool thing.
Oh, absolutely. And you're seeing that more and more. I think, you know, there's definitely you see quality of workers that it can go and work in a tag team and then break off and have decent singles runs, you know, in top promotions. So it's one of those things, you know, even it doesn't necessarily in this day and age, you know, oh, you're a tag team guy, that's where you'll stay. Whereas like I think years prior, it's like guys were really put in those pigeonholes, you know?
Yeah. I think for us too, like, I can't even really see a sense of us ever breaking for a singles run. I think being in a team doesn't necessarily just pigeonhole you. I think you can still have a singles career while still maintaining, you know, a tag team. And I think that's so cool to be able to wrestle 2 styles.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I think I said it in the last interview with you, Piers, but I think that every amazing tag team wrestler is a great singles wrestler first, and that just speaks truth.
100% agree. 100% agree. And, you know, you take I think the Dudley Boys for a prime example where you saw, you know, Bubba, you know, have that great run in TNA as the world champion and prove that he could be that top guy. And, you know, obviously Devon's in the same boat, you know, like he probably not as charismatic as Bubba, but definitely got some skill up there to have a decent singles run as well. But guys, you know, let's get into the PWA Premiership. So, you know, it's been happening with PWA pretty much all summer. How's it stacking up, man? How the numbers looking for you guys? Where do you guys sit on the table?
I've got a much better record.
Me?
Yeah,
bro, I'm dog shit. I've got 2 points.
This is the bad thing, man. Like I'm really bad at maths, so I know I've lost more than I've won. But like last night, you know, mathematically I'm out of the tournament, and it's been, for me personally, you know, I can't speak on Jude's behalf, but my mindset's been a little bit off. And I don't know if it's because, you know, I'm sort of quite used to being in that singles environment for so long again. But I've just, you know, my head's been somewhere else. And you know, it's frustrating, and trying to have that conversation with Osborne, you know, because we're on the same team, and him kind of telling me, you know what, you gotta quit the nice guy bullshit. And for me, I'm never playing that role. It's not a gimmick. It's me, and I'm not trying to be a nice guy necessarily. I'm trying to be the guy. And I just think I've got to try and work out, you know, what he said and what it means, and just figure out, you know, what to do next.
Very, very similar feeling for me as well, bro. The last match I had was against Matt Rogers, and I lost that match. And that was my only chance. I had a very slim chance of like surviving and going on to win the whole thing, and that was dependent on me beating Matt Rogers, and I wasn't able to do it, which is fine because Speedforce still has a chance in the Premiership. He's at the top of Block B. He can go on to win the whole thing. I think he will. Seeing that big cunt, he's the man. He's better and better. Every match he has, every time we see him at training. But I'm like Paris as well, man. My mind's just been a little bit off this whole Premiership. It's hard as fuck seeing Clyde Drake walk out there with our belt, and we can't touch him. We can't do anything about it because of this like non-contact clause. we have to wait till the premiership's over before we can even do anything about the fact that we don't physically have our belts, man. It's hard.
You know, and that's the thing, being a champion and not being able to display what you deserve and what you earned proudly. It's got to be a kick in the nuts, boys. So, you know, hopefully when this premiership finishes, you can go and take MK Ultra and kick him in the MK cunt. So go get him, fellas.
Yeah.
You know? We know that it's keeping our belts warm for us, but it just sucks, man. It's just so frustrating. I want to kick both their heads off.
Man, the time will come, boys, and when that payback comes in, man, that payoff will be sweet. I'm sure it will be. But what's been your favorite matches from the PWA Premiership though, that you guys have been in?
That I've been in, selfishly, I think it's myself and Matt Rogers, just because there were a lot of different layers and a lot of emotion invested in that match. Like we're brothers in arms, and David versus Goliath. There's a lot going on. We had imminent respect going into that match for one another, and we left somehow with even more respect than we had. That's my favorite match that I've had from the Premiership.
I think for me it would be working Charlie Evans.
That was great. That was a great match.
Just a real. I think just from a real negative standpoint with some of the matches I was having and not being really happy. And as much as I lost that match, I felt like I learned a lot. And knowing her influence, she wrestles in Japan all the time. And I think that kind of made me excited. And for us, it just really just trying to test out our strengths. And it was just a really, it's just straight wrestling, just really competitive. And that's kind of the style that I like. And, as much as it was a loss, I really enjoyed myself in that match, and hopefully I can say the same for her. But yeah, that was probably for me my match so far of the tournament.
Yeah. So anyone playing catch up with the Premiership, maybe watch those two if you're not going to watch any others.
Absolutely. Head over to OVO Play, subscribe, check out the PWA Premiership. But guys, for 2020, what was obviously the favorite tag team or six-man match that you guys were involved in that stood out for you guys? I know wrestling was cut short halfway through the year, but we did get some matches in. What was one of your favorite tags for the year?
I have terrible memory. Let's try to run it back. I think we had HBWA.
Yeah.
We had Reese Angel and Donnie Maker at FWA. Yeah. Those are good boys. They just weren't good enough that night. What else do we have?
I think a weird one would be, because we weren't on the same team necessarily, but I think the big 7-on-7.
Yeah.
For me, I really, really enjoyed.
That was the last show, was it?
That was the last show. That was Feats of Strength, if I remember correctly.
Feats of Strength, that's right. Seinfeld.
Yes. I think you were there, right? I think I remember we had show. Yes.
Bro, that match was fucking off the chain. That was like that was just ridiculous. And how hot it was in there. Man, I can only imagine what it was like being in there with 14 other human beings.
Yeah, man.
You guys look absolutely physically and mentally exhausted. Everyone did after that match, and I don't think anyone could really judge on that, because it was excruciating hot. I was sitting there drinking cold water and I was sweating, and I remember one of those spots where Mick Moretti rolls out of the ring and he was like, he did not look in a good way, and that's when he did the big spot from the top, and I was just like, fuck, that was some crazy shit.
Actually, now that you mention it, there were some good moments in that match. Have to my second favorite moment of that match was
thanks, Ben.
Yeah, very good. Piers versus Jim Cornette was not a tag, but very good feud. Good feud. I imagine we'll cover that very soon.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of the match was giving it to Kai Drake for a little bit there. That felt good. But my favorite part of that match was when we squared off. Yeah. Did you feel that, bro? Did you feel that energy?
I was just simply trying to break up a pin, and next thing you know, I'm like, who was the guy making that pin? And it was weird. I think because we know each other so well. Yeah. But there's also it was kind of uncomfortable, but for me, there was also that curiosity of being like, okay, let's see how this turns out. And we didn't necessarily hit a whole lot on each other. We were trying to.
Yeah.
But a lot of evasions, and I think it kind of piqued my interest if there's ever a chance of maybe Jude London versus Paris de Silva.
Yeah, that's what happens when you train all the time together. You just know each other's shit.
You kind of want to see how far you can take it.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that was a real highlight for me in that match. And as much as I wanted to, punch Kai Drake's teeth in, this no contact clause is still in effect. So having to swallow my pride and just get through it. But I guess having that little glimpse of action with Jude was very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys never wrestled each other before on any show?
One time,
yes.
I say one time. We've like been on the opposite sides of different teams. Like when we were both like young boys.
We had. I think we had a 4-way too.
We had a 4-way. Yeah. We had a fatal 4-way. Like back at, I think it was Wrestling Go on the day.
Yeah.
We had one singles match there as well, like 3 years back.
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah.
But I think since then, we kind of forgot about it. And then after having that interaction in that match, we're kind of like, well, maybe it's something that we might revisit one day. We don't know when, but it definitely got people talking and it got us talking. So
maybe we were supposed to go to PWG. Remember that last year?
Yes.
Go tag wrestle. Maybe we do a singles.
Maybe. Yeah, never know.
Yeah.
There you go, man. Doing it over in PWG wouldn't be too bad to do, but putting you guys into a singles competition. Let me ask you this question: who would be the Marty Jannetty and who would be the Shawn Michaels?
I
asked the tough questions, boys.
I look at it more who would be like the Edge or who would be like Christian.
Yeah,
because they both found great success.
Yeah. I love Christian.
I'm a big Edge fan.
Yeah. So there you go.
There you go.
I think
it was a joke question, boys. We don't need to go down.
I hope so. I
don't think I would wrestle Marty Jannetty because I don't think any of us are going to become like deranged uncles. Know what I mean? Old men.
Yeah.
But I think I'm very glad we're in the day and age of wrestling that we're in now.
Yeah.
I think it'd be very different if we were a team back in the 80s. That's for sure.
Oh, dude, yeah, I can just imagine the mullets and the sunglasses and the pigskin boots.
Yeah. Boy, they're back in, bro. 2020 is like 1980 all over again, and I love it. 2021.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow, there you go. I'm too old, man. I don't know what the culture is, bro. I just wear my tank tops and rock the bald head, bro. That's it. I can't keep up with fashion and all that sort of stuff. But man,
brother, don't worry about it.
That's it, man. I've got to keep the dad bod going. If I get into wrestling, I've already got the name planned out, man. The dad bod god. The gimmick right itself.
Yeah. Ready to go.
There you go.
Pretty over.
Yeah.
Maybe at the pubs.
Maybe in the pubs.
But we had a comment there from Ben Anderson. Obviously the little Twitter exchange with you and Jim Cornette in that spot. When you woke up that day or when you looked at your phone and saw that Jim Cornette had tweeted something out that you were in and was, he put a very negative light onto it. I don't want to say what he said because I don't really agree with his opinions and his philosophies. But how did you feel like after reading that and seeing that someone at that caliber of Jim Cornette was like basically said what he said?
I was kind of jumping for joy, man.
Yeah.
I think it was weird because when I posted the clip at first, it didn't get much traction. I think a day or two went by and then somebody commented and then from there it kind of just spilt over. And it got to a point where I was like, okay, I think the goal at this point now is for Cornette to see it. And
he did.
We kind of had this thing with the boys too. We have like a checklist, and one of the boxes to check off was getting called out by Cornette. So we thankfully ticked that off the list.
Badge of honor.
Yeah. But it's funny because I think I had a lot of people tell me to, and I think I don't know if he's just got like a gimmick that he needs to live up to. I think when you've got a show, and I think you designate a lot of time trying to talk negatively about wrestling. You need content to fill. So you need to find stuff. And I think, for the guys that he's talked, badly about, they've gone on to find great success. So I think if you're getting talked in a bad way about Cornette, it's good news, man. And overall, not everybody has to like the spot. I had many others tell me that they didn't think the spot was all that. It didn't make sense, and that's fair. Okay. But I think for me, if it got people talking and it got people's attention, we've achieved it. And I think for me too, the crazy thing was it was a suplex.
Yeah, it's a suplex.
It was, you can't go more old school than that. So
but that's the thing. Like Jim Cornette's been in the wrestling business, not obviously as a professional wrestler, but been in the business for 40 years. For a fan to come up and say to a performer, in my eyes, saying, I'm not a performer, I would never go up to any wrestler and say, hey man, do you really think that spot was worth it? Even no matter what my thought was or whatever philosophy around it is, fans need to understand, know your role. You don't go up to a chef and tell them how to cook your steak. If you don't like certain things, no worries.
Yeah,
you'll like something else on the card.
That's kind of the beauty and the danger of like the internet and social media. Hey, like you can just say what you want about it. Say what you want about it. Like that's cool. Say whatever the fuck you want. But I got more eyes on PWA and on Paris, so it's all good.
Dude, absolutely. And that's the thing. My other podcast, Wrestling with Tragedy, I have to say some not nice things about certain people in the wrestling business. But as far as the performance aspect of it, that's something I can't comment on because I'm not trained. I'm not have that experience. And that's where like you see with people on social media and they get on, rants, the comment section in Twitter and Facebook and YouTube videos is a dark and evil fucking place to go exploring, boys. And if you go there to get your ego stroked, that's like, opinions like assholes, boys. Everyone's got them.
That's something you just kind of got to get used to when you put yourself out there as a performer or like an online presence. You got to. I think you need to have like a thick skin.
I mean, we've all faced it too. It doesn't matter what level. I think everybody's gone through it before. Unfortunately, it's just like the day and age that we're in now. And I think it's just something to kind of not put so much attention on, which is difficult because we're so I guess used to having our phone right next to us. I've got it right now. Like it's crazy, but it is what it is, and I think you just got to kind of look towards those that are around you and just try and just let it blow over. Because after 24 hours, it was all done. Yeah, that's the other thing, man. It's on to the next thing from there, and people forget it, and like that's all it is.
But still enjoy that moment, get it screenshotted, framed that you at least got that tick off the box from the boys.
Yeah. And the girls. We had a good pop the boys moment.
I saw quite a few of the guys commenting on that. I threw a cheeky comment, which we discussed earlier, as well. So, hey man, I'm fans of you guys, boys. I'll always have you back. So, if I see an opportunity to fucking slam Cornette, bro, and help a couple of boys, let's fucking do it. Let's gear up. So, but moving into 2021, guys, like what is really on the top of your list? Obviously, the PWA Premiership is wrapping up in a couple of weeks, but what's on the ultimate goal list for you boys this year?
I think Jude said it best with his tweet.
What did I say? Oh, yeah, I did. I did. We want to go to Japan, man. We want to go to Japan. That's whether that's like soon or end of the year or whether it's later in the future, we want to get to Japan. That's our ultimate goal right now, I think. That would be a dream come true, just to train there and work with some promotions there. Because I feel like, I don't know, man, I feel like that's where I feel like we'd fit in great. I feel like that's where we would fulfill our potential.
Yeah, we've kind of heard it from a lot of people too. A lot of our peers have said, I think Japan would be a very suited place for us, and I think it's something that we agree with. And I think also getting our championships back is definitely on the agenda. But I think for the next big thing, that next goal, because we've done the States, we've done the UK, but we really, really want to make our mark in Japan.
100%.
What are the main promotions you want to go for in Japan? Dragon Gate, I'm assuming, is one.
100%.
Yep. Dragon Gate and New Japan are probably the big ones.
I mean, I think wherever there's an opportunity would be awesome. But I think based on the style that we've adopted and what influenced us, Dragon Gate's definitely up there. So who knows with the current climate and what's going on. Hopefully that's within the near future. We can't say when, but our opportunities have always been last minute.
Yep.
So
we just kind of roll with the punches, man, and things just kind of work out for us.
We're just going to kind of brace and just see what's next, and that's all we can do.
Yeah.
Has there been any interest? Sorry.
I was going to say, I guess Japan's like the big one, right? But kicking the shit out of MK Plus Ultra, retaining FWA Tag Team Championship. It's something nuts now.
Yeah, too many to count.
1,200. It's like 1,200 days, something like that. Am I the longest champ in Australian history? I don't know.
I think
someone tell me.
I
don't know.
You were like tag champs with Big Fudge, and I then swooped in, but I automatically, matched those number of days as well. So
instant like 900 whatever day champ.
quickest 900 day
first time in history.
Yeah. So
Spartan Spirit, history maker.
That's it. You guys are going in history books, man.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, those belts are beautiful though.
What? Great belts.
I think and the color scheme as well matched our latest gear.
Yeah, and the design. That's just some Velocities tribute championship belts.
They are staying with us.
Very good
for sure.
Yeah, man. One more thing.
They actually match well.
Yeah, they match like our latest set of gear. Lex Seamstress /Threads. Check them out. Very good. Last thing, we know that MCW's got their homecoming show. They got the Brat Pack and the Natural Classics for the tag titles, and we're number one contenders for those belts. Last time we were in Melbourne, so when borders open up, we're coming for whoever the champions are. So that's, I guess, the next thing on the 2021 list for the Velocities. A lot of this stuff is dependent on COVID. Hey,
it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
So we're just keeping our fingers crossed and just waiting.
Yep.
That's it, boys. I've just timestamped that so I know when to cut that out, so I can put that out on social media for you guys, so the guys in MCW can let them know that you're coming for the belts, boys. A pack, no diss. Adam, I can't protect you at the next show that they see you at, bro.
Yeah,
but
Adam, you're entitled to your opinion, bro, but you're wrong. It's all good.
You're on the list with Cornette.
Yeah, you're on the list, bro.
You're entitled, just like opinions, Adam. Everyone's got one, like an asshole. So shut your opinion and your asshole for the rest of the show, bud. It's all right. It's all right. He knows I'm joking.
Okay.
But, obviously, has there been, you were saying Japan is the number one goal for you guys. Has there been interest from Japan in you guys? Have they come calling, or have they shown any interest in you guys yet?
This is the thing. You never know who's watching.
Yeah.
So, I can't say that there's been interest because we haven't heard anything, but that doesn't mean that we can't send out feelers. We just don't know. So, I'm just hopeful that hopefully somebody's out there watching. Hopefully, somebody's gotten our email. Persistence, just putting stuff out on social media.
Yep, that's it. I'm trying to be better at that.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be better at putting stuff out.
Like, I just retweet or just repost. All the content that I have of highlight reels are from him, so I can't take much credit for that.
You do the stuff.
Yeah, so do you.
You wrestle.
Yeah.
So do you. It's all good.
You jumped off the balcony.
You fucking shooting star DDT, dude.
But I think
that I actually said that. I said, "How did you come up with that, Jude?" And you're like, "Oh, that was Paris." And I was like,
"Yeah."
But yeah, you know what? It's hard to think. I'm just trying to keep that hope that there's somebody watching.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I can think.
I feel like it's just a matter of time.
I think everyone, there's a lot of people internationally watching Australian wrestling. With conversations I've had with people that I know over in the States that are now getting into PWA and some of the stuff through OVO Play. I'm getting questions asked me going like, who are these guys? What's the go with this? And I'm like, this is such and such, blah, blah, blah. And explain the best that I know. But yeah, I think there's a lot of overseas really starting to take notice of what's happening over here in Australia. And obviously the Australian wrestling movement that's been going on for the last several years is just it's spiraling. So, I think the next couple of years we're going to see a lot more guys over in the US and definitely internationally in Japan, really starting to cement their legacies over there.
I think so. Did you see Australian Suicide? El Australiano?
Yeah,
on AEW? That's cool. That's real cool.
That was amazing.
That'll definitely bring more eyes back home.
Yeah, I think like on that note, for us too, hopefully just like not just us, but hopefully like a lot of guys get more opportunities to go overseas. I think it doesn't just stop with one tag team or necessarily one person. I think let's just get as many people out there and try and just spread, the entire scene and just kind of show the world the whole scene and just how talented it really is.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I'm liking with obviously seeing Australian wrestlers flourish overseas at the moment. It's no longer that hokey 80s character going, well, g'day, darling. I'm Billy the Bush Kangaroo Killer, and we're going to be wrestling today. I'm going to pin you 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to have a Billy. And it's not that hokey bullshit. It's just like this professional wrestler who happens to be from our country, from a country called Australia. Like it's more of like, I think that's the evolvement of pro wrestling as well, how it's evolved over years from being so cartoonish and ridiculous to now being more sports orientated, where you're looking at competitors as athletes as opposed to like sideshow performers and what it used to be.
Yeah.
It's like it's a new breed of performer. It's really cool.
Yeah. I think we're stepping away so much from playing a character or a gimmick and focusing more on a person's personality.
Yep.
Which I think the more genuine you are and honest you are, I think just the overall better performance you're going to have.
Yeah.
And everybody's different. I think we can have certain characters and gimmicks, but they're always like an extension of that person playing that role, so to speak. Yeah. But I think, it's just the day and age that we're in now. And I think it's really, really cool. It's pro wrestling and that's all it needs to be.
Yeah. And I think, as you said, it's like having the people being themselves coming out there and makes for a more believable product as well.
Yeah.
If you see someone coming out with a big fucking Manitar head, getting through the ring and going to wrestle in it, it's hard to really sort of buy into that for any age group, even kids now. Like,
maybe that guy's a furry, we don't know.
Dude, who knows? But like I sit down and I try and get my son to watch wrestling, and I sit down and put stuff from the 90s on and the 80s, and he's 4, and like that sort of stuff is supposed to be like, oh yeah, for kids go nuts for.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, but then I'll put on NXT or AEW or PWA, and he's like sitting there transfixed to the screen just watching it.
Well, your son sounds like a sports monkey.
Very, you know what I mean? Like he was on the couch. Yeah. Anyway, I got a massive bruise on the back of my neck because of the little fuck. But anyway, we move on. It's a joke, boy.
Don't try to get home, man.
Bro, I tell him, man. So, but guys, look, what are you guys looking forward to the most in the next show? I mean, PWA is set to announce a show very soon, probably in the next month or so. Can you give us an inside scoop? Is it going to be a live show in front of like a normal Max Watts crowd? Is it going to be an academy show? Is there anything you can give us the 411 on?
We don't know.
I wish, man, if we had that information, we would absolutely tell you.
We hope it's Max Watts. That'd be cool as fuck.
I think, we're along for the ride just like everybody else.
Yeah.
We do know that a tweet was sent out not too long ago from the actual PWA account. They have an announcement tomorrow at 10 a.m. So at 10 a.m. we're gonna find out like the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's the next show.
Yeah.
We don't know. Hopefully it's at Max Watts. Hopefully it's at the Academy. All we can do is wait. But 10 a.m. tomorrow, we're gonna get those answers.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been keeping up to date with Premier Gladys and the COVID restrictions and all that. But I don't know, man. Hopefully it gets better before it gets soon, so we can have more fans. I think we had like a limit of 50 at the Academy, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So if it has to be at the Academy again, that's cool. But sooner we can move back to our second home of Max Watts, the better, man. So yeah, guess watch this space, man. We'll all find out tomorrow together.
Dude, I really enjoy the Academy shows. I think that they've been absolutely great. Like the vibe that you get there. I haven't been to a Max Watts show yet, so everyone's told me that wait till if you think this is good, wait till you go to Max Watts. So, but you know, regardless, the Academy shows you guys haven't disappointed. There was no one phoning it in. It was, you know, absolutely amazing wrestling from bell to bell, from the top of the card to the finish of the card. So, we are going to wrap it up a little bit very soon, guys. But if you do want to ask the Velocities a question, guys, now's the time to do it. Throw a question up, down into the comments, and we'll post it up. I know we had a here today that a couple of the guys wanted to ask. Let me just bring this one up.
Yeah. Thanks for sending in comments while we've been talking through as well, guys. We've seen some of them pop up. We've just kind of been in the flow of conversation, so we haven't really acknowledged everyone, but we've seen it come through and we appreciate you.
Okay, so we got Nikki Van Blair who wants to know who's the Layla and who's the Michelle McCool.
Bro, I don't watch 2005 Divas matches. I don't know. Which one are you more likely to marry, the Undertaker or me? I don't know.
Well, I can go, but you're taller than me.
I'm taller.
So we'll say you're Michelle.
I'll be Layla. Babe.
Layla. Cheers.
Babe. Yeah. He's Layla.
Yeah. I never thought we'd get a question like that,
but
there you go. I'm glad we could answer it. So hopefully that's good for you, Nikki.
Yeah.
Nikki's always watching shows, but Kyle, he wants to drop in and just wants to know what is your favorite match in your career. So you guys can go singles and then one as a tag if you like.
All my like top few favorite ones are tag team matches we've had.
Yeah.
Which ones come to mind? There's
obviously Nations as well.
Nations when we picked up the belt at the Rumble show. That was an amazing night, an amazing match. LSX, great match.
I think for me it would be SMS.
Oh, actually, that might be at the top.
When unfortunately Ricky kind of got caught up within that group. It was Ricky and Tyler Payne.
Yep.
That one was just really, really special.
That just felt. There was a different energy that night, man. Like in the ring, chemistry with those boys was off the chain.
Yeah, and I think we were just really hungry because it was a number one contenders match as well, and we're just, we waited a year to get that opportunity again, and there was just no going back. So I think for me, that one's definitely up there as a tag team.
That's like the match we started to make our name from, eh?
Yes, I'd say.
Wow.
I think, from that point, I think we kind of got to we were definitely getting more confident. 2019 was a really, really good year. And I think, that match itself, we just busted out everything. And I think at that point, we kind of put, PWA on notice of being, the next in line for the championships. And then, that next month, we actually won them.
It was 2019, that match?
Yes.
We did a lot in 2019, man. Jesus Christ.
2019 was your year by the sound of it.
Yeah. And hopefully we can make, this year our year.
One more that holds a special place in my heart is our first match in the UK at Attack. We wrestled Aussie Open, Carl Fletcher and Mark Davis. That one holds a special place in my heart because that was like the first time that we kind of put a bet on ourselves. We just went overseas. We're like, fuck, man, let's just try wrestling outside of home. Let's wrestle some people with like a bit more talent, experience up their belts than us. And we wrestled those boys, and I feel like we hung with them in the ring, and that was a major confidence booster for both of us. So
I remember we were so nervous as well.
Yeah,
like I was freaking out.
Yeah.
Pretty much rocking up at the venue and not having really any time to prepare. Just getting our tights on and just warming up, and then out we go.
That's it.
But I feel like with UK fans in particular too, like they're pretty rough. Like it's pretty hard to please them.
Remember that guy called us shitty young bucks?
He did, and we should have thrown super kicks.
Really?
Yeah, we should have.
Yeah, but afterwards he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry for calling you shitty young bucks."
Yeah,
so, like it's okay, man. It's all good.
Because he realized we are good at wrestlers.
I remember, I think at Attack 2, some guy was like staring at your bum.
He was
beating up as
I
well.
was watching Paris like die in the ring. And then someone was like, "Oh, cute butt, Bailey," and I was like, "Oh man, watching my best friend though."
But I think what I loved about that match too was the venue. It was just so different. Here we go.
They're very delayed pop. The venue, the barn,
wrestling in a barn.
It was
just awesome scene. But yeah, I think first big overseas match, and it went so well. So hopefully many more.
Yeah, I guess long-winded answer, probably the match with SMS.
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah,
I'd say that.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one favorite, probably that one.
Is there one team that you guys, have wrestled against multiple times that you really enjoy working? It's like when you see your name opposite theirs on the card, you're like, fuck yeah, this is going to be a great night.
Two teams come to mind, the nations. We have wrestled with those guys a whole lot. I feel like we had a very good story arc with them. Having developed as both characters and performers. I feel like we were like real young boys when we started wrestling, and then we kind of became men. Maybe
in a weird way, as much as we have our differences in opinions, the nations kind of we got to credit the nations for really making Velocities in a way.
Yeah.
Once we wrestled them, we really learned and had a great experience and kind of had to think about new strategies and game plans and kind of really shaped us of being a better tag team. And that's the only way you're going to get better as a tag team is you have to wrestle fantastic tag teams, and the nations are that.
That's it.
And I think every time we're in the ring with them, we just go, and it just always works out.
Yep. For one reason or another, I think it's anytime we've wrestled a tag team match against Uncle Mort, Matt Diamond, whether it's him and Robbie or him and CJ, they feel really special as well. Probably because we just know each other so well, and we turn it on that much more because it's like you hit your friends harder. Like we definitely beat the shit out of each other when we had that singles match a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's
weird, with Uncle Mort, we have him as a tag partner, and with Robbie Eagles, we have him as a coach.
Yeah.
So you kind of have that real close friendship in a way, but it does make you push each other harder.
Yeah.
And I think we've only had really one match with LSX as well as HVWA. So, I'm sure when we have the next, it's going to be just the same.
Yeah.
And did you guys know each other prior to getting to wrestling? Like, do you guys grow up in the same area? Were you guys friends before? Yeah.
No. Funny story. We tell every podcast that we do.
I remember getting a message from a wrestler saying that he was in a locker room with a guy who looks just like me. And I had another guy come up to me who was my trainer at the time and said, "Oh, I met like you, but it wasn't you." And I had no idea what he meant. And then I think Blue Mountains was a Blue Mountains show.
Blue Mountains for wrestling.
And it was weird. This was the same time that I met Robbie for the first time.
Yeah.
I'd met you for the first time, and somebody else.
Kai Drake.
I think it may have been Kai Drake before he,
Cunt Drake
turned into a monster.
Yeah.
But as soon as I saw him, I was like, this is the guy that I've been hearing about.
Yeah.
And we just instantly like, yeah, man, what's up? Hit it off.
Yeah, man.
And it was weird because people always, as soon as they saw us, they were like, "Oh, you guys are definitely gonna be a tag team."
Yeah.
And just weird. It never crossed our mind. Like we were like, "Oh yeah, like just cool."
Paris you were wrestling for like maybe 1 year before me, about that,
a
year and a half, something like that. When I started training with PWA, and I was getting ready to like come on to shows and debut as a rookie, trying to think of a ring name, and I came up with the name. It ended up being Jude London because it was Charlie Evans. She was like, "You should use the name London because you look exactly like this guy Paris." And I was like, haha, okay. I don't have any cool name. Well, I did have one cool name. No one thought it was cool, but different story.
What was it?
But yeah, so it was like I was destined to be with this guy, huh?
Yeah, likewise.
What was the cool name that you had, man?
Noctis Rain. Coolest name. I painted my fingernails all black. Real original. Yeah.
That's so bad. That's so badass.
That's a good. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
But Paris, at the last show, you and I were talking, and you were telling me how you actually got shoot name, but you were telling me how they were calling you Pedro at IW.
At IWA. Yeah. First time, meeting the promoter, Mike Mercedes. I introduced myself as Paris. Somehow, it was very, very brief. And then going out to the ring, I heard my name was Pablo. And I went, that's not right. And it just got to a point where I think it was a bit of a rib, and it just kept kind of going for the next few shows. And they would change my last name. At one point, I was like Pablo De Santos. And then they came to a point on that show where he's like, "We'll call you like Pablo De Silva." And I was like, De Silva's great. Can we just call me Paris? Because that's my shoot name. I think it'd be easier. Paris Silver had a better ring to it, and like, yeah, no problem. And then that was it. They just forgot about it and called me by my correct name. But yeah, man, I look like I guess with the mo when it's really full on, Pablo works. But yeah, man, they were close, but it wasn't correct. But you know, it's a good thing to look back on and laugh. So yeah.
Man. I could see you just walking the ring like with a cigar and just like white powder all over your face.
Nah, man, I look like I was an 18-year-old kid who looked like a pizza delivery boy who was so lost, man. Black Count RSL, second match ever, and I'm freaking out, thinking, man, I've made it.
Boy, the photos of like young boy Paris are pretty good. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
I gotta find these.
I can send them to you, man.
Are they at the bottom of your Instagram?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, I'll find them for you. I think, you know, Sarah Newman of New Photography. She you know, I got to credit her, man. She's always just, you know, captures those great moments of our careers, even through all the years. So she's definitely got a bunch. But yeah, you'll definitely find them.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. But guys, before we start wrapping it up, where can everyone find you guys? Can we drop you a little bit where we can find your social media, or also where guys can get some of your merch?
Yep, you go first.
I mean, yeah, I'm bad with social media, so I'll get mine butchered out of the way. You can find me on Instagram at _spun spirit. You can find me on Twitter at ParisSilver22. Merch wise, wrestler merch. 100%. And that's for Jude.
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter if you just search for Jude London or Jude the Dude London.
I forgot about Facebook. Jeez.
It's, you know, Facebook's still there.
Yeah,
good for talking to family.
Yeah,
Facebook's very good for talking to families. But yeah, man, wrestler merch. I think I still have a big cartel with like all my old stuff, but wrestler merch is like where it's at for new merchandise. I think actually very soon. I think there's a new Speed Force shirt coming out as well. Little reimagining of that retro design we did last year, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
So look out for that.
Guys, I got a Velocity shirt, man. They do some great designs on their merch, so make sure you get out and support them. Support a couple of good Christian boys, a couple of good Aussie wrestlers. But, boys, thank you so much for coming on the shitty young bucks. But guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you guys as always. I really appreciate you guys giving us the time tonight.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having us.
Great. It was a great time. See you later.
Anytime, guys. Always welcome back. And everyone, thank you very much for tuning in and watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to stay notified. And we'll catch you next time, guys. Peace.
See you later. Bye-bye.